We have Mansi Pakhiddey with us in the virtual studio today, and we are going to discuss a rare topic, not much spoken. And this topic is mostly behind the closed doors, and the topic is infertility. She has battled her way through primary infertility for the last 4 years. And let's talk to her about navigating this phase within the hard walls of the corporate world, where something as natural as maternity is still trying to fully break out, and therefore infertility stands no chance. But before we get into this hard and serious conversation, let us begin with the first rapid fire round. Yes, you heard it right. We are introducing one more rapid fire round during the beginning of the episode from now on, and we will get to know about the guest first. So let us prick the brains of Mansi. And Mansi, you are the first guest to be part of this initial rapid fire round, which I have introduced in other languages like Hindi and Telugu, but this is the first time I'm doing it in English. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to randomly pick some words, and whatever the first thing that comes to your mind, one word or one sentence, or as small as you can speak or as little as you can speak, just talk about that topic. And I'm going to share a set of words, and we'll go ahead with that. Are you okay with it?
Absolutely. Let's go.
Let's go. Okay. So here comes my first word. It is color.
Gray.
Okay. And luck.
It matters till it doesn't. It matters till it doesn't. It works till it doesn't.
Dream.
To be a woman of substance.
Awesome. And hope.
A world of endless possibilities, unprecedented possibilities. I hope for that world.
Okay. Love.
That's the only thing that matters.
Courage.
I think it's the breakfast for champions.
Wow. Explore.
Every possible perspective. I think just go explore all perspectives. Nothing is right, nothing is wrong.
Okay. Create.
Create impact, as little as big as possible, but just create an impact.
Inspire.
Generations.
Awesome. And last one, happiness.
I think it's just a state of mind.
Just a state of mind. Yeah, so powerful. And thank you for volunteering in the first rapid fire round. And absolutely, I thoroughly enjoyed, and I'm sure audience will also enjoy it. And Mansi, it's the time for me to welcome you officially to the Guiding Voice podcast series. And hearty welcome to this conversation. And I'm extremely pleased to have you part of the show today.
Thank you so much, Naveen. Thank you for this opportunity. I am really excited to talk about this very touchy topic. I am very, very excited and thrilled to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. In fact, I'm super excited when you propose this topic, because I love these kind of bold and unspoken topics. Okay, which it is a time for us to spread awareness around less spoken topics, and these are kind of wake up calls, as you said, right? So. And Mansi Pakhiddey is an experienced professional with a demonstrated history of working in the retail and internet industry. She's skilled in business and category planning, sales, merchandising, and also account management. So, folks, you have tuned into the Guiding Voice podcast series, TGV for a Better Future. I'm your host, Naveen Samala, a fellow professional on a mission to make the world a beautiful and a better place to live. And through the Guiding Voice, we drive conversations that matter, conversations that add value to your life and to your career. Thank you so much for tuning in. And let's get started. Mansi, can you briefly share your success mantra, as in the top 3 things that have attributed to your success so far?
Well, Naveen, I think and I believe that the definition of success varies. You're born with certain set of very inherent traits, and some you develop over a period of time, right? But some of the mantra that I live by, some that I've leveraged in my very limited professional journey, has to be the hunger for learning. Your journey may not be similar to your peers, and it might just be grossly different. But as long as you're learning new art, new industry, new skills, as long as you're doing that, it's all good. Nothing can take. Just stay relevant. That'll be my first mantra. And second will be being relentless in your pursuit. Nothing is easy. Nothing extraordinary comes from a predictable way of living, right? You have to keep at it. You have to keep going. You have to keep doing justice to what you have set out to do. So that is second thing that I live by. And third is a deep, deep sense of ownership that helps me stand out. Frankly, I mean, I make it my problem. I feel and breathe the role, the task, the challenge which is in front of you. And one good thing about this whole thing is it's also one quality which is appreciated by everyone, because that sort of forges a sense of trust. If the other person is equally um, owning the whole piece, it just forges a good sense of trust. So these are the three things in very short that I live by.
Yeah. Very nice insights. And Mansi, you have battled your way through the primary infertility for the last 4 years, right? So, can you share your experience with infertility and how it has impacted your life?
Sure. Just for the audience, the difference between a primary infertility and secondary infertility is primary infertility is when you don't have a single child and you've not been able to have, it's been more than 1 year that you're trying to conceive and you've not been successful. And a secondary infertility is when you've had one baby already, but you're struggling to have the second one. So that is the broader difference between primary and secondary. And which also mean that I, by and large, fall into the category of primary infertility where I don't have a kid as yet, and I'm battling it for the last 4 years. So by the time you decide to plan your family, right, you are mature enough to understand that life is just a giant machine which throws curveball one after the another, and you have to deal with it. It's how life is. But infertility, that was a big surprise. I did not see it coming. It went from it's not happening, one cycle after another. It's not happening to it cannot happen. It just happened in a jiffy. And honestly, I didn't believe it could happen to me, especially because I like to be on top of my health. I'm very health conscious. The only thing that matters to me, I mean, every year, the one thing that I wish on my new year is please give me good health. Please give me good health, because that I think is most important, fundamental thing to have to do other tasks that you're supposed to do, right? So I was very, very focused on my health early on.
Hmm.
So that was a big surprise. And I thought it was unfair. It was broad injustice. It felt like someone is rolling the dice for you, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
it's actually hilarious to think how easy this process can be. Then it's not. It's painfully difficult. You can't do much about it. So especially people like us, people in leadership position, I would like to say, who have a problem solving mindset, right? They have the tendency to fix broken things. For with them, when you the realization that you are absolutely powerless in the outcome,
Yeah.
it can be slightly difficult to process because you don't have a clear idea as to what is it that you're supposed to do and what is it that you're not supposed to do. What is it that you did not do right? So the answers sort of trouble you. For
Yeah.
example, since you're in from IT background, in a process flow diagram, right, you would understand in a process flow diagram, there are inputs, there are activities, one thing lead to another. It's an iterative learning loop. Only
Yeah.
in this case, fertility, the feedback loop is broken.
Mm.
So you don't know which combination of diet, supplement, peace of mind, yoga position, time of sperm and egg, what will work, you don't know. So
Right.
it's the way I would put it, it's like a science lab experiment level easy for some. It's it's that easy for some, and it's an elusive quantum physics equation level difficult for some other people. So gross difference between the two. But
Mm.
this chapter definitely added a big coefficient of randomness and uncertainty to our lives. But what
Mm.
really hurted, and that is what the most disturbing part of battling through this was when I realized that I was dealing with a taboo.
Mm.
It's a taboo to not be able to have children.
Mm.
It's not talked about. It's deeply personal. The knowledge sharing is limited,
Yeah.
and so many couples are just silently battling it. And it disturbed me that in this era, it's
Yeah.
not normalized.
Yeah.
It's still it's still looked down upon in some world, sure, right? I mean, there are world existing. We're still a developing country. There are still parallel worlds within India where it's looked down upon. In
Yeah.
for some women it will be a it will be just a object of suffering so much. But the fact that it is shushed for some reason in an otherwise liberal world, that is deeply unsettling and upsetting for me.
Yeah.
In the world where we talk about uh, technology, AI, future, in that world, why are we not comfortable and open to talk about it, to discuss it, to look into the eye and say, yeah, I'm not able to have kids. It's just like any other problem. It's absolutely normal to have a discussion around cancer or diabetes or early blood pressure that
Yeah.
my entire generation is battling with. But
Hmm.
to say that, guys, it's maybe 4 years and I've been facing a lot of problem, it's not easy at all. So
Yeah.
this hypocrisy that exists in this so-called liberal world, that I think was one wake-up call for me, that and was very upsetting.
Yeah, indeed, a heart-wrenching story and a personal experience that you have shared. And my 2 cents here would be maybe corporates, right, and the industry should come forward and organize some awareness sessions to promote these kind of discussions openly, right? To have these kind
Yeah.
of discussions openly, because we do conduct sessions like financial planning, tax saving, and how to plan real estate investments, all those stuff. But why not this kind of stuff, right? So
Yeah.
I strongly urge listeners, especially those from the CXO fraternity, please pick it up as one of the subjects and make sure that these kind of topics are discussed openly, or at least create that open environment where people can come forward and move it forward. Okay.
Yeah.
So on that note, Mansi, I am really surprised at times by looking at a few corporate leaders. Right, they plan to postpone their child. I mean, the conception. Okay, for about 5 years, 10 years, because they initially focus a lot on careers, and that probably they want to have kids little late at their age. And I think day before yesterday, I've gone through an article which mentioned about freezing the eggs of certain successful leaders across different domains. Somebody from Bollywood industry and somebody who is a professional athlete and somebody at a corporate level, right? So likewise, people are little proactive in some cases, and many a times I see people juggling, right, between whether to have a baby or pursue career, right? So what is your take on this particular topic in terms of how the exciting raise in the career puts the family expansion on the pedestal?
Um, just a recent study shows that an average age of the first time mother in developed countries like US, UK, it has increased by 3 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
South Korea is at an age of 31, and Japan is about 31 average age. And it's especially true for millennials in the developing country, for whom financial stability, career, and life goals are central in terms of their decision making. Right. Another article that I was reading in Forbes the other day was the earning potential of a woman
Mm-hmm.
after the first child is born drops, and the delta between their male counterpart is about 20%. And with
Mm.
every child that happens, with every child, the earning potential drops by about 4%, 4 to 5%, while it actually increases for male. So while the male hasn't, they see the rise in their income, there is a potential drop for women. And the gender wage gap, it's attributed by a lot of things, but it's largely due to childbirth.
Mm-hmm.
So when a woman is career oriented, most women prefer to delay the childbirth till the time they achieve a certain level in their career where they're
Yeah.
comfortable, a certain paycheck, some of the dreams fulfilled, etc., etc. Right? So it sounds plausible. It's a fair choice. I pushed the decision 2 more years after I turned 30, and I
Mm-hmm.
still get a side eye even from doctors to not have started planning early.
Mm.
But the biological clock, that is the reality. The biological clock does tick,
Yeah.
but being fully prepared and being ready before stepping into the parenthood, I think that is more important. than just jumping into it. In fact, I've had these discussions multiple times, Naveen, and the number of times that I have to justify why I started planning late, and my only argument sometimes is, uh, what if I'd started planning early and got sucked into this chaos of infertility when I was young? I would have lost all the magical years that actually built my character.
Yeah.
I'm way stronger. I'm stronger today to deal with it than I would have been as a younger Mansi. Younger Mansi would have been devastated to go through this. And now I have a better chance at forging a brighter future. So the timing, of course, there is a science behind it. You have to take care of it. But a lot of things changing with this time purely because you are, especially millennials, okay, especially emphasizing on millennials who are taught to strive for their ambitions, strive for their careers, strive to break the barriers and walls and then conventions around you. Child rearing is one of those things which comes like, I don't want to do this right now because I'm having too much fun in my life right now. I don't know whether I want to step into an area of uncertainty, and therefore it's just fair that they push it. And that is happening everywhere, all across the globe.
Yeah, indeed, quite insightful. And also, you said again you have been struggling for the last 4 years, and you may be undergoing some excruciating treatments, right? And now that you are already at a senior leadership position, so how did you balance this infertility and work, and when your calendar is extremely blocked?
Good question. I think, Naveen, these are the nuts and bolt of infertility. One is all the emotion, one is all the how do you feel, and then there is the practical reality of going through this, which is actually more painful because the spectrum of fertility treatment is really broad. It can be from taking your meds on time to taking shots on time in case of IVF, right? In case of IVF, if you miss your shot at the assigned time, you miss the whole bus, right? And we're talking about some 35 to 50 injections in case of IVF, which you have to take every day. And which you have to go and get it done every day because sometimes you're not equipped to inject yourself. So all of the treatments affect you physically because these are all hormones in some way or the other, and it gives you changes in your physiological body. There are psychological changes because you just don't think it's going to be that difficult, so it affects you psychologically. Your sleep is absolutely gone. It hurts you emotionally. But what you need to understand is that the first date of your period is the central hero of this game. So everything revolves around it, which also means that you cannot schedule anything, right? Like if I have a scheduled surgery of, let's say, my knee, there's something wrong with my knee, I will go to a doctor and I will take appointments and I will decide, okay, this is the day, let's go for surgery. Everything is sorted, right? So everything's scheduled. I'll talk to my manager, this is how it's planned. So you do it like that. But in this case, because everything revolves around when you're going to have your period, which you don't know for sure, everything is tentative. So which means that your calendar, and especially during COVID, where everything was blocked every day of the time, right? The calendar was fully blocked. 70% of your meeting and calendars are booked beforehand. So you don't know what's going to be that on that particular day. So honestly, work from home really helped me immensely. It helped me to juggle between virtual calls and hospital visits. And there have been times, as a fact, there have been times when I'm taking a call while doc is performing a transvaginal scan. And no, but it's fine. It's absolutely fine. But I'm not complaining about it because I have the flexibility of taking that call.
Right.
I want to take that call, that which is most important. I want to take that call, which brings me to slightly important and slightly paradoxical point of view, slightly debatable also for some people. But I believe that you really do need the chaos of office. You need all of these 100%, 120% booked calendars to manage this personal ordeal, because this battle of infertility has the potential to kill your vibe, your confidence, your spirit, everything that you stand for. It can potentially kill that if it is handled in isolation. So basically, you just need less time to think analyze what's going on with you, and that can only be possible when you are thinking about something else, which in this case can be your office, right? So it was my personal choice, Naveen, but I did manage to undergo a lot of general anesthesia procedures by just taking 1 or 2 days off on the
Hmm.
day of the surgery or a day after, and then after 1 or 2 days, I want to be back in the game.
Yeah.
It's that simple. And it was definitely helpful because my org supported the flexibility to manage work from home, to take calls, and they trusted me to close my work priorities anytime within the day. And the startups are super agile like that. I mean,
Yeah.
you hit them, you say that they don't, they rip you off the life that you have, and the startups are super difficult. But I think you also have the flexibility to find your freedom as long as you are contributing, as long as you're invested in the vision of the organization. You can take care of your life as well, and nobody really complains, right? So
Hmm.
the way I looked at that precarious situation at that point in time was that I had to kill at work.
Yeah.
It was non-negotiable. It was within my control. It kept me sane because there was one thing in life which was mine to build.
Yeah.
So first pro tip, guys, coming straight from someone who's dealing with it. First pro tip: please don't hate your work. Please don't hate your work.
Yeah.
Embrace it.
Yeah.
In the long run, it will be more fulfilling to keep some threads of life which are going well versus your current situation. You would love to see that even though you were not really on the top of the game in your personal life, or let's say because of that you're not even performing too well in your professional life, but just the fact that there's some place that you can go and perform and isolate and delineate between these two, and there's a clear dichotomy between your personal and professional, your sanity will be secured. So that is very, very important. And
Hmm.
I understand, I was privileged to have to be part of that workplace. I understand that not every workplace or every work profile for that matter will allow this kind of flexibility, but some of the things that can be done, some of the tips that I can give you would be: work harder on good and easy days. That will be number one, because
Hmm.
uh, when there will be good days and there'll be bad days. There'll
Yeah.
be some generally easy flowing days and there'll be some mind boggling days, right? So
Yeah.
on good and easy days, contribute, ideate, resolve, be proactive. In a nutshell, just try to compensate for the bad days when you
Yeah.
won't be able to practically give you 100%, and there are going to be many such bad days. So when you have the good days, don't just laze around. Just It's time for you to contribute and ideate more, right? So
Yeah.
on top of the game on those.
Yeah.
Second would be: talk to your boss, take
Hmm.
them into confidence, tell them about your situation. I mean, if you don't tell them, they would never know, they would not be able to assume it, right? Because we're not so evolved yet.
Yeah.
And lastly, get help. I cannot emphasize this enough, but you can't do this alone. You
Yeah.
need a strong backup at work.
Hmm.
I mean, a lot of times you're told that you need to scale up your team, right? This is the time to scale up your team because
Hmm.
uh, because you need people you can depend on for work, for information, for
Hmm.
managing calls sometimes when you're in your absence. Find help at home to
Yeah.
take care of your house chores, and find an honest ear apart from your spouse to discuss everything that you're going through.
Yeah. So one thing which caught my attention is not to laze around during your happy days, right? I think there is a lot to absorb there and absorb there in terms of do as much as possible during those days so that you are saving everything for the rainy day. If at all some situation comes where you have to be away from work, you don't have to worry about the work altogether. Yeah, great
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Yeah, and with that, let's move to the next question. So this is something again. Why is infertility muted in the corporate? Why not many people are vocal about it?
That this question is very close to my heart because I've been pondering it for over
Hmm.
it for
Hmm.
last 4 years.
Hmm.
And this is when I was in a very good place
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
manage this. Even then, it just troubled me, this question. But I think I believe it's the very nature of this battle, the
Hmm.
tentativeness around this ordeal, the repercussion of sharing this piece of information with your team, with your boss. You fear that, right? What will happen if you tell that? Also, the precedent set by infertility's good cousin, which is pregnancy. which that no one shares their news of conception till the first trimester is over, because you don't know, right? That is the norm, that is the precedent set by pregnancy news. So how can one share that they're trying for a baby or going through treatments when they don't know when this will be over? They don't know when they'll be successful, right? It can be 6 months, it can be 1 year, it can be 2 years. You don't know that. So because of this nature, people generally don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Also, I think the fear of being seen in a different light, possibility of being robbed of an opportunity that's coming. You've been working on one particular role, one particular opportunity. You don't want to talk about it because you don't want to lose it. You don't want to lose the rapport or confidence that you've built with your boss. Some of these fears are naturally assumed, while some are definitely valid also. In fact, according to one of the surveys, almost 50% of women don't really disclose their treatment to their boss or their team members or their HR or employer, because they fear that they won't take them seriously. This will be like an excuse of the absenteeism, or this will be an excuse for low performance in the last quarter, etc. Right? Not as much focus as last time, so they will think they're not as serious. So the 40%, rest of the 40%, 40 to 50% of women don't talk about it because they feel that it will negatively impact their career prospects. So all of this from the employee standpoint, like they are not comfortable to discuss it and share it. Right? It's only from what is that the employee can do to share it and why they don't share it.
Yeah.
But on the employer's point of view, the organization point of view, it's just plain oversight, because infertility struggles are so deeply intimate. It's an indirect peek in your bedroom. It's just extremely uncomfortable to talk about. Unlike childbirth or pregnancy, infertility is an unpredictable journey. There are no benchmarks valid within your org, that okay, my average age of my team is about 26, so by 27 these folks will start to get married. I know this is going to happen. You tend to have all of these thoughts in your mind as a boss, as a manager. But with infertility, you don't really have a benchmark. Someone can just go and then have a kid 1 year after, someone will not have. So no benchmarks available. So it's unbelievably easy for some, and for some it's the end of the world. So even though 1 in 6 couples struggle to conceive, and the general fertility rate of India is has gone down to 68 from 86 in 2010. That drastic drop in the fertility rate of India, the depth of this issue is not fully acknowledged yet. And somewhere I will also attribute it to and you also talked about it, that the absence of strong voice around this.
Yeah.
Celebrities, leaders, actors, politicians, they fail to their journey. No one wants to bring their incapability of having kids to the front, especially in the nation where obviously making kids is apparently a cakewalk, right? That we are a big population, it's a cakewalk. It shouldn't be. It's in that era. It's really difficult to come out and say that this is one of the things that we cannot do. So the motherhood is celebrated while infertility is shunned. And the forces, the influencers, in fact, us, the leaders, we have failed to normalize it. That is how I will put it. We have failed to normalize it, to change the narrative around the fertility. And that is where we failed.
Eye-opening. And I think you have a lot of metrics to share. And this is kind of a great conversation. And I never imagined that I would be covering this kind of topic on the Guiding Wise. And thank you for giving this opportunity, because this has to be taken to the world, Mansi, and I really appreciate it. Now, let's talk about the insurance and Mediclaim policies, because these infertility treatments are highly expensive. In fact, one of my close family members is also going through it, and for every attempt, I think it takes about 2 to 4 lakhs or beyond, depending on the clinic that you go. But when it comes to the coverage, not every company or not every policy has it covered under its ambit, right? So, do we have anything in place to support the treatments, just in case if people are not aware, but something is something already existing? As far as I know, nothing is existing. But what's your take?
Sadly, no. So most of the company sponsored mediclaims or even the purchase insurance, they do not cover infertility treatments. There are some exceptions. There are exception definitely where, apart from pregnancy, pregnancy and maternity. Apart from these two, miscarriages, adoption, child bonding, and wellness plans, etc., they've been included. But by and large, assisted fertility treatment not included. That happens because it's not. The assistant for and it's there's an acronym for the AFT is what you call it, assistant fertility treatments. They are not coined as chronic diseases. It's not dabbled as chronic diseases. It's basically one of the things that you cannot have it. And some of the people think that IVF is basically done only by privileged people who decided not to have it and now they want to have it later in life, right? It's a privilege. It's not because there is a serious chronic issues. So although in US just recently they have made assisted fertility as a chronic disease, but not in India. Therefore, it's not included. But even if you go for a simple tubal patency test, where basically they test whether your fallopian tubes are working or not, or if you just go for a guided sexual intercourse to increase the probability of conception, or IUI, or IVF, even the diagnostic test which is required to undergo these treatment, right? Before IVF, before IU, they do a multiple test. Even those treatments are not covered fully. But of course, there are variation. There are very few policies that are existing. I haven't tried it yet. There is one or two that I've heard that cover the expense of the treatment, but it comes with the multiple variation. The extent of coverage significantly vary, and they have absurdly long waiting period. So basically, from the time of starting the policy, you have to wait 3 years till you can claim anything. So, which is absolutely practical, right? So, a lot of work is required to be done. So, what we need to do is the need of the hour is to create a thorough health policy, at least at the employer level, that covers benefits like time off in case a massive treatment like IVF has failed. One is that it's so expensive, and the mental torture, the physical torture that you have to go through in case of IVF, you definitely want to take a break, right? So time off in case of such failures, hospitalization in case of certain general anesthesia diagnostic procedure that are required, overall fertility treatments, sabbaticals, and a wellness program. Those are something that they need to design within the health policy. And most importantly, but I think over and above this, it's important that we need to foster a culture within the organization to acknowledge it, talk about it, and then just the way you were saying, validating the pain these treatment bring, guide managers to understand that the possible impact of these treatments on employees' performance and seek solutions to navigate. It's possibility that in the last 1 month something was off because of which they did not do certain things in the right way, right? So create a sense of empathy, create awareness around it so that it's known. And I think that is the first step that we can go after. But by and large, I think if someone is listening, I think it's a solid area of someone who can come up with a business idea. There are many infertile couples who need this the treatment. So someone can come up and create a solution out of it.
I think it's a great startup opportunity as well, and somebody who is into insurance space also, they can come up with a solution altogether, right? This is the other side of the coin. Great, great perspective, Mansi. So, Mansi, I think digesting this is not that easy, and I'll be very honest here. The conversation that I'm having, it is causing some ripple effect inside me. I'm not able to really digest the kind of facts that you are sharing, and I really wanted to understand from you how this infertility impacts the emotional well-being of individuals or couples, and how can people cope up, because since it is not spoken so openly, because in India especially, you said there is a taboo, and wherein fertility is taken for granted, right? And infertility is something rare. They think as if, okay, it is something alien to us, but it is not true. As you have mentioned about the metrics, bringing this fertility down from 86% to 68%, right? It is kind of mind-boggling and at the same time worrying fact as well. So given that it might dip further, right? Given the food, lifestyle, and all these kind of things that are happening today. So definitely people have to understand the coping strategies. And first of all, how do they realize that what they are going through, and how can they deal with it?
Yes, I think, I mean, it'll be a no-brainer, as I said, that we've talked extensively about how it affects one emotionally. It is a big financial burden. Your social life is, it's a no-brainer that it affects us financially, it affects us psychologically, socially, or you cannot really commit to any social scenes because you don't really know where you are in your cycle. So these are very glaring impact on it. But one of the coping methods, not one of, actually, I have 4 pointers. I've written an article also about it, about actually how to manage this whole chapter. So the number one would be, and I'm saying it after a lot of research. There is not a single thing that I've not tried. I have, and I'm saying it after 4 years of trying every possible alternate or baby. Okay, and I'm saying a wholesome. I've done yoga. I've also attempted something on the animal flow. I've taken diets. I've I've done Ayurveda. I've done multiple things, and after that, I'm saying that you just have to take it easy. Yeah. That's the number one point. I know it's counterintuitive, and but you have to put a little fun spin on this whole situation. Make it, it's make it a little light. It's not, don't make it look like that you're a victim and it's the end of the world. So just take it easy. It usually helps, and letting it fester by not sharing it with anyone. Keeping it really as if it's a big secret. Can't share it with anyone. I can't do this. This whole victim mentality, or by letting the fear overpower you, it just doesn't work. So first thing first, just take it very easy. When it's meant to happen, it will happen, right? Yeah. Second would be investing in a solid support system. I said this earlier, the support system is really, really important. Non judgmental, super supportive people around you. Surround yourself with them. Stay away from the toxic relatives. Just run away from them. They'll forgive you for running away, but just run away. And so that is very important. Third, which I think helped me immensely, I think that was my savior, was investing in building side projects. So basically mimicking the growth that motherhood would otherwise have given you, the sense of growth, the sense of moving ahead in your life that motherhood brings, that okay, one milestone done, right? You need to mimic that growth, that mimic that feeling through other avenues. You can upskill yourself, you can start some side project, you can take up some causes, a lot of things which just gives you a sense of growth, right? That's really, really important. And entire 2021, I was very deeply connected with Corporate Diva. I joined all of their courses. I went through all of their workshops. I took personal workshops for my sound modulation, etc. I was learning a language. I was running every day. I'd clocked more than 200 kilometers in a year, etc. I was doing all of those things. So that really helped me. And therefore, a very obvious step would be, don't wait on it. Don't wait for it to happen. I will only buy this when I have a baby. I will only go to this country when I have a baby. I will only buy this house when I have a baby. I will only go to the take up this role when I'm very clear, particular where I am in my life. Just don't wait on it. Keep the flow of life absolutely uninterrupted. Start thinking around plan B. It could be adoption, or hey, just why don't you just adopt a pet? They change your life. So just don't wait on it, go for it, and things will happen to you.
Pets are super relieving. Like they are a good alternate way, and many a times it happen wherein they bring a pet and pet brings luck also. So it could happen that way. But we have shared a lot of practical tips. And on that note, since you reminded about Corporate Diva, I would like to thank Deepika Trehan once again for connecting another wonderful soul, Mansi. Okay, and Deepika, thank you once again. And it's one of the most enchanting conversations, and I think I'm going to cherish this for quite a long time or forever. And yep, and so Mansi, this has been a heavyweight conversation so far. Let's lighten up the mood of our audience by switching gears and initiating a second rapid fire round. Should we get into the second rapid fire round?
I love it. Do I get like Karan Johar's rapid fire round? Do I get to Do I get anything at the end
Yes,
of it?
yes. You will win a coffee with Karan Johar, real Karan Johar. Yeah,
I would
good
love
is
that. I would
yeah,
love.
definitely. And yeah, let me find the first bullet. If you could have one
Okay.
gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say?
Is it about me? Or it
Yes,
could
it
be
is.
about anything, right? So, I mean,
Yeah,
well, today
anything.
I would rather have a strong. I would rather have a strong social footprint than investing in billboard. But I would love to live for a day when I see a big billboard saying that we've become the world's biggest economy in less than 100 years of independence, and kudos to people like you. So I think that I would love to live for that day to see that kind of billboard. I
Wow.
don't think I need to have anything on me. I would just want to have a really great social billboard rather than actual billboard on the road.
Plus 100, plus 1,000, and plus how many ever TGV
Yes,
subscribers we have. Okay.
yes.
Great. And what is your favorite book or movie? You can pick anything and why.
I am a big movie buff, but my go-to book is The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand, and I read this very young in my age, and therefore it fueled my stubbornness to defy norms, to challenge the convention, to break barriers, to ask annoying questions, to question everything, and to have my convictions. So I mean, I dare to be. I'm okay with my company. I dare to be a loner in my unique journey. So
Hmm.
I think that has a massive influence in me, and even more important because I got to know after reading three books of Ayn Rand that it's such a powerful writing by Ayn Rand, and I realized after reading three books that Ayn Rand is a woman, and that just changed everything
Oh, wow.
for me. I
Yeah.
was flabbergasted, and yeah. So that changed the whole perspective. That it just validated that I was feeling so strongly about all of the books because it was written by a woman,
Hmm.
and she had such strong writing.
Yeah. Here comes my next one. Can you describe yourself in just one word?
One word is difficult, but okay, I'll try. I think tenacious will be one word. I am a force of determination. So yeah,
Yeah.
my tenacity and tenacious, that'll be one word.
It's visible. And what is the weirdest thing that you have ever eaten so far?
Are you vegetarian? I don't know, but I can say it on here or not. But I just had a Polish last year. I had a Polish tartar. Basically, it's actually a raw meat.
Hmm.
We went to Poland, and then it's just like a bhel puri
Oh.
without the bhel, but actual meat, very raw meat, but very finely sliced,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it's just mixed with a lot of tomatoes and etc. And it's served, but it is delicious. It's out of the world. So it was really weird to first time eat raw meat, but it was wonderful.
So you have tasted the raw meat very first time, the meat itself, but not the raw meat itself. Yeah.
The raw
Okay.
meat, yes.
Yeah. And if you could meet any celebrity, who would it be, and what would you ask them?
As I said that I'm a big movie buff. I think I would love to meet Christopher Nolan. I would want to go out on a coffee with him and get the entire inside scoop of every movie he's produced and directed. I would want to know what made him choose those topics, and I think that'll be a uh, very profound discussion I would have with him. So that opportunity I wouldn't want to miss.
I wish you good luck. And with that, let me fire the last bullet. What is one electronic gadget that you'd like to see or invent yourself?
I would love to have smart eyes where I can just scan and zoom and click pictures with the blink of an eye. I can just process information and then or project my slides or project my book. Everything that I can control with my eyes. I think I would love to have that. Love to see and try the technology sometime.
Here is another fantastic startup idea and very unique thought process. I wish that comes true very soon. And with
Actually,
that,
I what
yeah.
I'm actually building a D2C eyewear brand,
No.
And therefore I am also inclined towards what all the glasses can do. So smart glasses already exist, but I think the functionality of smart glasses is limited, and there's so much that we can do. We've really done a lot of work on and everything, but so less in terms of what eyes can do. So I think that's a powerhouse. That's a potential opportunity area for anyone to work on.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So with that, let's flip back to the mainstream. And Mansi, what are your closing thoughts, or what is your key message to our audience?
This is actually from the bottom of my heart, to all of those fellow warriors in this battle. Right, you're not alone. You may feel life has singled you out, or randomness has put a deliberate blockage in your path, and you may wonder why this has happened to you. It's not right, it's not fair. But such blocks are generally intentional. Life, I know you don't want to hear it, but such blocks are generally put in your life intentionally, because they urge you to confront the challenges. They force you to see the fracture points. Once you acknowledge that there is uncertainty, there is discomfort, and there is a festering wound lying there which you have not attended so far, then you can start healing. And your struggles can actually become the source of your greatest strength. This pain can become the central part of your identity, which you can use to build perspective, to build wisdom. Embrace this pain and struggle, and you'll emerge stronger. I wouldn't have dared to leave my cushy job to build my own business without the untimely face off with infertility. I refuse to be reduced to a non functional uterus. I will build my own baby and get the money for it too. So, yeah, that's it.
Salute. Superb. Mind
Thank
blowing.
you. Thank you, Naveen.
And yeah, before I let you go, how is your experience being hosted on the Guiding Voice?
Yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you so much, Naveen, for providing this platform for authentic voices to be heard. And I remember when we had a first discussion, I wanted to clarify that I am not associated with any organization at present. And you said I am not interested in you as so and so and so and so organization, and I was immediately put at ease. So it really allowed me to look for my unique story, share my flaws and methods to the wider audience. And I'm really, really happy to add voice to this unfortunate event that some people go through. And I hope to ignite courage in people to be open about it. And if not, then they know that they're not alone in this journey. Thank you so much, Naveen, for this opportunity.
And pleasure is all mine. And once again, I would like to thank you as well as Deepika. And thank you so much, Mansi, for your candid insights. And also thank you so much for your time. And I'm very, very optimistic that I'm going to invite you again when we talk about D2C eyewear brand, but that time you'll not come alone. Mark my words. My
Thank you
best
so much.
wishes. My best
Thank
wishes
you
to
so
you.
much, Naveen. Thank you so much, Naveen. And have a great day. And to the entire team, you're doing a wonderful job. Keep at it. I am I'm really overwhelmed to be associated with you and then to have this invitation to speak to you. Thank you so much.
All right. So pleasure to host you, Mansi. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Take care. Take care.
Sure. Take care. So, friends, that was our episode with Mansi, and it was such an eye-opening conversation. And at the same time, I'm hoping that it will ignite some positivity around people who are suffering from this infertility. And before we get into the trivia section, here's a request to you: please subscribe to us in case if you haven't done already. Also, if you have loved this episode and found the conversation useful, request you to share with at least 3 of your friends or colleagues who can benefit from the guiding voice. Thank you so much in advance. Now let's hop into the trivia segment. And today's trivia is about infertility treatments. After powerful conversation and such a bold perspective offered by Mansi, I thought I would spread a word around infertility treatments. And the IVF, which stands for in vitro fertilization, was first successfully performed in the year 1978, resulting in the birth of Louise Brown, the world's first test tube baby. And the first successful frozen embryo transfer, FET, took place in 1983, expanding the options for infertility treatment. And in some cases of male infertility, intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Okay, the short form is ICSI is used, where a single sperm is directly injected into an egg to aid the fertilization. And ART, assisted reproductive technology, is a general term that encompasses various fertility treatments, including IVF, ICSI, and gamete intrafallopian transfer, GIFT, among others. And pre-implantation generic testing allows for the screening of embryos for specific genetic conditions before implantation, reducing the risk of passing on the inherited diseases. So these are all a few aspects related to the treatments that are available for infertility. But as Mansi mentioned, you are not alone, and at the same time, try to explore Plan B, which is about adoption, because there are many abandoned children out there, especially in developing countries like India, where parents are required. So go ahead and try that as an option, because I've seen many cases when somebody has adopted a children, and that adopted child brings a luck, which means they have natural children once they adopt somebody else. So it might happen to you as well. Stay strong, and you are not alone, and follow all the tips. My advice is, please listen or watch the episode once again, and also share the episode link with those who you think needs to know this information. And also, apart from that, if you have any tips in terms of dealing with emotional turmoil through these infertility treatments, please share them through comments if you're watching it on YouTube, or you can drop the comments on social media platforms as well, wherever you found the episode. And that's all for today, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. And do not forget to share your topic recommendations and also guest speaker sessions through social media, or you can email us at theguidingvoiceforyou@gmail.com. I'm your host, Naveen Samala, a fellow professional and a passionate learner on a mission to make the world a better place to live through conversations that matter and conversations that add value to your life and to your career. Until next time, bye-bye. See you all in the next episode with another wonderful guest.